Good morning, everybody. I'm Reverend Debbie. I'm so glad you guys are here. And I want to welcome our online community for joining us today. This center is based on the fundamental truth that there is a power for good in the universe, and we can consciously use it. And the mission of this center is to teach, demonstrate, and inspire that positive, spiritual, conscious approach to living. And to get us set for a lovely Sunday morning, I would like to introduce you to Victoria and Carl.
Good morning, everybody. So the theme this Sunday that's going to be talked about is discussing a bit of resilience in the wind against your face. So I have a little tune that I wrote that's called Wind Against My Face. We're going to be doing for the first time in front of you guys. When the road ahead gets longer and the end is out of sight, feel the wind against my shoulder pushing strong with all its might. Every step I take brings me closer to the light. With strength and grace, I know I'll be alright. The wind against my face shows me I'm strong. Every step I take, I will carry on. Through the gusts, I will find my way. With the wind against my face, I'll greet a brighter day. When the night is dark and stars are out of view, I will trust the steady whisper of thought that pulls me through. For it speaks of inner peace and strength within me too. With each breath I move, knowing what to do. The wind against my face shows me I'm strong. Every step I take, I will carry on. Through the gusts, I will find my way. With the wind against my face, I'll greet a brighter day. Every breeze that lifts my spirit makes me stand up tall. Every gust that tries to break me reminds me I won't fall. For the wind against my face is the mark of moving on. And I'll keep walking forward till the morning light has gone. Oh, the wind against my face shows me I'm strong. Every step I take, I will carry on. Through the gusts, I will find my way. Oh, with the wind against my face, I'll greet a brighter day. I'll face each new beginning, let it guide me through the night. I'll step a fresh adventure, bringing me closer to the light. Though the wind may never stop, I'll keep going with a smile. For every step I take will always be worthwhile. For every step I take will always be worthwhile.
Singer, songwriter, and religious scientist. Yay! Okay. All right, it's time for our group reading. So you will find the words in the program. You'll see them on the screen up here. And those of you at home, just take a deep breath and listen in, because here's the truth. I am ready to deepen my conviction in the power and presence for good. I am ready to apply it in my daily life. I am ready to receive God's highest blessings. I am ready to live from a higher level of beingness. I am ready to be a transformative light in the world. Great, thank you. And now let us just take a moment and center ourselves, shall we? Take one of those wonderful conscious breaths and just be with that breath. Just allow it to provide love and warmth and comfort, and because in this moment we just sit in gratitude. Gratitude for all that has been, all that is, all that will be. Gratitude for this teaching, this community, this wonderful, wonderful life. which is just getting better all the time. And so it is. Okay. I would like to invite Joan to come up as we light the flames of faith. This is our way of acknowledging that there is truly only one that goes by many different names and is honored through different spiritual practices and religious rituals and all of those great things. And so we can't light flames for all of them, but these are the primary ones. And we're going to light them in recognition of when they sort of came about. So we're going to start with the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as a path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. And now I invite all of us just to take a moment and recognize that flame within, that spark from a new thought perspective, honoring the metaphysical path of wholeness, oneness, mental healing, and a level of self-love. Thank you, Joan. Okay, as if that wasn't enough, now we get to have a reading. Dee Dee?
Good morning. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood, right? Joanne gave me this book. It's by Joe Schmidt. He's a sports, he wrote this book. It's from the Impact Blueprint, a step-by-step journey to a life of significance. And it's on resiliency. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest, if not the greatest basketball player ever, got cut from his high school team. He missed 9,000 baskets, lost over 300 games, and missed 29 shots that would have won games as the buzzer had he made them. Jordan went on to become a 6-time NBA champion, 5-time MVP, a 14-time NBA All-Star. Every kid who laces up a pair of Air Jordans wants to be like Mike. Sure, he had amazing skills, but besides world-class athletic skill, Jordan was famous for his resiliency. Obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go around through it, or work around it. Michael Jordan once said when he was talking about the importance of mental toughness. We've all heard that it's not whether you get knocked down, but how you get back up that counts. That's what being resilient is all about. As parents, we love to teach our kids how important this skill is and then sometimes forget to practice it ourselves. People who are resilient are both optimistic and smart enough to know what they can control and what they cannot control. They look at adversity as a chance to learn and grow or even change. This is easier said than done. Dick Enrico is a serial entrepreneur from Minnesota who likes to call himself an occupational opportunist. In 1992, he started selling exercise equipment and struck gold. He called his company Second Wind Equipment. And at its peak, he had over 100 stores spread over 11 states. He was famous for his off-the-wall TV spots and his on-the-wall advertisements in public bathrooms. He could write a book on guerrilla marketing. Here's a guy who never stepped on a treadmill in his life, yet he was the owner and spokesperson for a company that sold thousands of them. He eventually sold the company after 20 years of unconventional marketing and business tactics. Everybody thought Dick Enrico was an overnight success, but nothing could be further from the truth. He was not only a serial entrepreneur, but he also but was also totally resilient. Before he hit it big with Second Wind Equipment, he sold pots and pans door to door. As a matter of fact, he started at least 20 companies, such as storage sheds with thatched roofs, water beds, and car phones, and none of them ever made it to the New York Stock Exchange. Some of those ventures were downright disasters. Dick told me they were not failures, they just lacked success. When he turned Second Wind Equipment into a big success, the Wall Street Journal did a profile on him with the headline, "Try again." What people did not understand about Dick is that in every business that did not make it, he learned valuable lessons in the art of the sale. He made a good living selling pots and pans as a door-to-door salesman. He describes himself as a very street-smart and exquisite closer. It was Dick's resiliency that helped him sell over $1 billion of exercise equipment. Now in his 70s, Dick is on to a new technique called SCAM, sales, creativity, and marketing. He has opened Second Shade Patio Furniture, which is replicating the successful model he used at Second Wind. One of the keys to Dick's success and resilience is in his ability to take risks and change if things aren't working. "I can spin on a dime," Dick says, and it runs in the family. Dick's brother, the late Roger Enrico, was former CEO of PepsiCo. When the going gets tough, do you get going or do you get lost? Do you bend but not break? Think of Michael Jordan and Dick Enrico. If you don't fail once in a while, you're playing it safe. Thank you.
Someday I wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. When all the world is a hopeless jumble and the raindrops tumble to the ground, heaven opens a magic lane. When all the world darkens up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found, leading from your window pane to a place behind the sun, just a step beyond the rain. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Okay, that was lovely. Just lovely. All right, speaking of lovely, here comes Reverend Joanne.
Thank you. Indeed, that was lovely. Well, good morning, everybody. Last week, Debbie was talking to us about being in the present, being here and now. This is where it happens. Let's not worry about the past. Let's not go to the future. What's here and now? And today, the title of the message is The Wind Against Your Face, as Victoria was talking about. I'm going to begin with a little story. It was this young guy, and probably had more money than he should have had because he was kind of frivolous. So he goes out and he buys this Ferrari GTO, really expensive, hot sports car. And he was so proud of it. He was just so excited. So he's going to go take it out for a spin. Gets out on the street and he's tooling along, comes to a stoplight, and this elderly gentleman next to him on a moped. They both stop at the stoplight, and the older guy's looking at him. He said, wow. He said, that is some kind of car you got. Yeah. Kid said, yeah, it cost $250,000 or whatever it was. And he said, could I look inside? And the kid said, sure. So the old guy gets off the moped. He gets inside. He looks around. He said, wow, what a slick car this is. This is just amazing. Well, then the light changes, so he gets back on the moped, and the kid thought, well, now I got to really impress this guy. So he tromps it. Within a quarter of a mile, he's up to 160 miles. He's just, like, aren't I something? Then he looks in his rearview mirror, and he sees this, like, dot behind him. He's looking at it, and it's getting bigger, and it's faster, and he said, what's gaining on me when I'm going this fast? And all of a sudden, whoosh, something goes right by him. He couldn't even see what it was, but something passed him. The next thing he knew, he's watching this dot come back toward him. All of a sudden, whoosh, goes by. He says, that's that old guy on the moped. How on earth can this guy on a moped pass my Ferrari, come back? He was just baffled. He looks in the rearview mirror. There's this dot coming at him again. And instead of going whoosh by him, whoosh, he hits him in the rear end. The guy falls off the moped. Kid gets out of the car and he says, gee, he said, I don't know what to do. He said, what can I do for you? And the old man says, well, sonny, he said, you can unhook my suspenders from your side view mirror. You get it? You know? So do you ever feel like that you're kind of getting whipsawed, you're out of control, and the wind's in your face, but it doesn't necessarily feel good. You're like, whoa, what's going on? So this is the lesson today. You know, the wind in our face doesn't always feel good. You know, sometimes it's very challenging. And I think we also need to look at another saying we hear from time to time called the wind. You know, you hear people talk about the winds of change in our life. And I'd like to review some of the things that have changed since the 1500s. You know, in the 1500s, and I got a lot of this off the internet, so you know it's factual. In the 1500s, people took a bath once a year. And of course, they all had these, you know, these tubs. They didn't have bath tubs. They just had these round tubs that they'd take a bath in once a year. Was first the dad, you know, first the man of the house, then the sons, then the wife, maybe the daughters, then, you know, little kids. Last of all, of course, the little baby. By the time the baby gets in there, you know, that water is so grimy. That's where the saying comes from, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Can't see the kid in there. Now, that was supposed to be in the 1500s, but I will tell you, I was born in 1947, and we lived in a little house. There were 3 of us kids at the time, and guess what? Saturday night was bath night, and we didn't have running water. We had a tub. I was going to call one of my sisters and say, was it the same tub they brought in from the barn that they mixed up the meat in? We raised mink, so they had to mix up the meat that they fed the mink. I think it was only for baths, but I wouldn't have known because I was a little kid. But anyway, Saturday night, that was, I think they just threw us all in the tub at the same time. But some things change, you know, things get better and better. So you go from the 1500s to the 1900s, and even then only about 14% of the homes had bathtubs in them. About 8% of the homes had telephones. And, you know, it was so expensive to make a phone call, it would cost you about a half a month's salary to call from Denver to New York for 3 minutes. I mean, they're not like they are today where you can call anywhere. Just some things changed for the better, obviously. 10% of all U.S. physicians had a college education. Insulin and antibiotics hadn't been invented yet. Scotch tape, the crossword puzzles, can you believe it? That amazed me. Crossword puzzles, not invented yet in 1900. Canned beer and iced tea had not been invented. And, you know, change just continues to happen in our lives. Everybody probably watched the news this week. If you don't watch Wheel of Fortune, you saw on the national news that Pat Sajak, after 40 years, retired. He's off the air. Well, he's not really off the air. You can see him, I'm sure, 1 million times on the reruns. But that big change for a lot of us. And then I listen on the radio sometimes when I'm driving around. There's this kind of a shallow discussion show. 2 women, they're sister-in-laws, Lori and Julia. They've been on for 20 years. And they just kibitz. They talk about things like entertainment and what's going on in the Twin Cities, so forth and so on. But 20 years on the air, after June, they're gone. So change continues to happen. Some of it is good, some of it is hard for us to deal with. There's a writer and a speaker named Ralph Marston. He writes something called the Daily Motivator. I don't know if any of you follow it. He says this: the faster you move forward, the more the wind blows against your face. When you encounter much difficulty and resistance, it's because you're in the process of making significant progress, change. Those who have no problems are those who never venture out to accomplish anything. I think Dee Dee was reading about that. Those who face most challenges are those who end up creating the most value. When a particular problem arises, it is because you've progressed to the point where you can deal with it. When a challenge comes along, that's because you're truly ready for where it can bring you. See the obstacles as gateways, and you'll see their true value. Each new challenge is a stepping stone, a waypoint on the journey to real and meaningful accomplishment. So feel the stiff wind as it blows against your face, and know that what you're feeling is your rapid movement forward. So sometimes that resistance, we can be assured that when we're getting resistance, it does mean we're moving forward. And that's kind of a secular description. Ernest Holmes says in his chapter on immortality in his Science of Mind textbook, he says, nature will not let us stay in one place too long. She will let us stay just long enough to gather the experience necessary to the unfolding and advancement of the soul. Nature demands change in order that we may advance. When change comes, we should welcome it with a smile on our lips and a song in our hearts. But we know that change doesn't always feel good. Michael Beckwith gives the example of the little chick in the egg, and many of you have heard this before, but when you think about this little chick, oh, he's so comfortable in that egg. This is a nice, safe place to be. Till he starts to grow and he gets a little bit bigger, it's getting a little cramped in there, and plus he's starting to pollute it with his own pollution. And it's getting unbearable after a while. And just before he's about to die, he thinks to himself, I got to get out of here. He starts pecking, peck at the shell till he makes himself free. You know, that freedom's always been there, but it's when he gets to that point, he's finally breaking himself free. Sees the world for the first time. Eric Butterworth says, pain is breaking through the shell of awareness. Edwin Gaines says that not all our good tastes like chocolate and smells like turkey and dressing. You know, sometimes our good is there, but we don't recognize it because it doesn't look good, it doesn't taste good, it doesn't smell good. In Romans 8:28, Paul says, and we know that all things work together for good to them who are called according to his purpose. And to me, you know, the word together, things do work together. And it puts me in mind of, in spite of appearances, I know there's something in the unseen, with a capital U, that's working for my greater good. So we know that sometimes we just can't see it. We just can't see it. Oftentimes when change happens, if we don't see it as, oh boy, is this an opportunity? We think, oh no, what am I going to do? I got to figure out how to get through this, get through this obstacle. When I was a kid in our church, we had these, you know, how you have these tracts sitting in the little racks and stuff, and there was a tract in there that was a poem, and it was called The Weaver or something like that. And it started out like this. It said, my life is but a weaving between my Lord and me. I cannot choose the colors, he worketh steadily. Oft times he weaveth sorrow, and I, in foolish pride, forget he sees the upper, and I the underside. Now, of course, we know that our higher power doesn't weave sorrow. We are responsible by making our decisions. We bring those things on ourselves. God doesn't say, oh, I think I'm going to make this day a particularly rough one for Marvin. You know, he doesn't say that. Oh, that's that Amber Alert. That's probably my phone. In, and I couldn't figure out. I thought I shut it off. Sorry about that. Amber Alert. Anyway, we, by making our decisions, bring on our own obstacles. But I like that idea. You know, when we look at like a weaving or something, it looks so pretty, but if you look at the other side, it doesn't look pretty at all. And the point is, sometimes that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the underside, the backside, instead of how beautiful it can be. Sort of like that story about Joseph in the Bible. You know, Joseph had all these brothers. They were jealous of him. Oh, God. He had a coat like this, coat of many colors. And his brothers he got from his dad. His brothers were jealous. So they took him out in the desert and they put him in a well. And they thought, he's just going to die down there. And they did that. And lo and behold, some caravan came along and they pulled him out of there. They took him to Egypt. I think they sold him. And he's kind of a servant in the court there. And I think the story is he is able to interpret dreams and do some pretty special things. And next thing you know, he's the right-hand man to the Pharaoh. Well, a famine takes place in the land where his brothers and his dad are living, and they hear that there's some food in Egypt, thanks to Joseph, who told them, you got to put away this food, because he had a dream about it. And so they go there, and they don't first recognize him, but when they finally recognize him, they're just horrified that, what we did to you, we're so sorry. They say, behold, we are your servants. They bent down, and he said, don't even think about it. He said, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. In other words, look how I came, landed on my feet pretty good here. And so many times we're not able to see the good, and we have to be open to that. Sometimes, I thought there was a verse in the Bible. I thought there was a verse in the Bible that said, God will never give you more problems than you can handle, or something like that. Because when I was first married, and I had my 2 little kids, and I realized I was married to an alcoholic, I had a little issue with God about how much I could handle. And so I remember this one night, my husband didn't come home from work, must have been payday, and I walked into this, we had a walk-in closet with a full-length window in there for whatever reason. And I'm looking out that window, looking down the street, waiting for those headlights, right? Praying. God, I'll give you 60 seconds. I counted down. 60 seconds for God to bring those headlights down the street and into our driveway. I was very humble. I was beside myself. This was the only time in my life I can say I was in despair, not having any hope. I had no idea how this could ever work out well. I just couldn't see it at all. I was just miserable. And so I was yelling and swearing, and I told God, you told me that you would never give me more than I can bear, and can't you see this is, really, I was in rough shape. But then I remember that after I had that little tirade, I kind of collapsed on a chair, and I just said to God, give me peace, comfort me, give me strength to get through this. And when I prayed that way for strength and comfort and peace, I received that peace that passes all understanding, and I was able to move forward. And it wasn't long at all after that I was introduced to Al-Anon. And that introduction to Al-Anon changed my life. It really expanded my horizons as far as spirituality. Since where I came from, pretty much everybody was going to hell except this one little church in the country. And so when I got to Al-Anon, I realized they were much more tolerant of other faiths, other religions, and it made me more open when I got introduced to Science of Mind. So we can be comforted, remembering we got this inner strength. We're capable of meeting any situation, because that very power that created everything that is the power within us. We can be comforted by that. And yet for most of us, when we run into challenges, what's the big bugaboo? Fear. Right away we're like, oh no. Just we need to remember. We can be comforted by remembering the universe remains intact. The universe isn't afraid. The universe isn't confused. We can remember that it's intact no matter how chaotic things may appear. And the universe is intact even though our challenges and our problems and our situations, our circumstances always change. You know, when you think about it, if you've had some big problems in the past, big challenges, think about, oh, what was that challenge I had, 5 years ago? You probably can't even remember it because it resolved itself, it evolved, it changed. How about some people in your life that you thought were ruining your life? Oh man, that person just makes my life miserable, makes my life hell. Where are they now? You've moved past it. How about a burden that you've carried? Maybe a secret you've kept on your own shoulders that you thought you couldn't share with anybody. Maybe you shared that secret and now you feel a burden lift. Where is that burden? It's gone. So we change, we evolve. So I'm going to suggest that this week you try this, that instead of telling your story, my story is my boss is a jerk. I've always worked for jerks. What's the common denominator there? Or I don't get along with my in-laws. They're terrible people. They're selfish. They're whatever. Or tell your story. My children don't obey me. My children are running wild. They're crazy. I can't control them. How about your finances? Just can't seem ever to make ends meet. Whatever it is, I'm going to suggest quit telling that story this week. Just don't tell that story. And instead ask yourself, what is that experience offering me? What am I learning from that experience? How can I grow from that experience? It's a little homework if you choose to do it. Joseph Campbell wrote, opportunities to find deeper powers within ourselves come when life is most challenging. When things are going along well, there's not a lot of growth there. It's great. But, our lives, I think we can always expect we're going to have this going on to help us grow. Remember that nature will let you stay in one place just long enough to gather the experience necessary for the unfolding and the advancement of your soul. So we are going to have our ups and downs, so we can advance our souls. This eternal activity of creation, this ongoing activity of evolution in our souls, it can seem frightening, can seem very chaotic. But finally, remember the words from the I Ching, and those words are this: before brilliance comes chaos. So if you're having some chaos in your life, just know that there's brilliance on the other side of it. You can get through this. You've got a power within you to get through it. Remember that you're a brilliant light. Do not let that light be diminished when you're facing that wind coming in your face. Instead, know that this is simply a natural part of the process. We're going to get through this. So I would like to invite you to take a deep breath. I'm going to do a spiritual mind treatment around these words. I know there is but one power in the universe, and it is the power that guides. It is wisdom, it is peace, it is love, it is all good. It has the perfect solution to any perceived dilemma in life. I know that I am one with it. It experiences life in, through, and as its creation, in, as, and through all its creation. And even though the winds of change and resistance, they've sometimes stopped me in my tracks. Sometimes I've buckled with fear for whatever I'm facing. And even though in the past I've sometimes forgotten who I am, that I am this vehicle for this power that is to experience life in, as, and through me. I set my intentions so that when the winds of change, when those winds of resistance come, I can just know that I'm making some progress. I'm growing. My soul is advancing. In gratitude that this is how the law works, it is done unto me as I believe, I release these words now to the beneficent conspiracy which does the work. So it is.
The wind that shakes the barley, it will not shake me. The wind that shakes the barley, it will not shake me. The wind that shakes the barley won't shake me. Like my mama told me, this I know when I see. Well, the fire that takes the kindling will not take me. The fire that takes the kindling will not take me. The fire that takes the kindling won't take me. Like my mama told me, this I know when I see. Oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey. Oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey. And the fire that floods the valley, it will not drown me. The rain that floods the valley, it will not drown me. The rain that floods the valley won't drown me. Like my grandma told me, this I know when I see. Well, the hawk that stoops a sparrow, it will not strike me. The hawk that stoops the sparrow will not strike me. The hawk that stoops the sparrow won't strike me. Like my grandma told me, this I know and I see. Oh, hey, yeah, oh, hey, hey. Oh, hey, hey, oh, hey. Well, the dark before the dawn breaks, it will not bind me. The dark before the dawn breaks, it will not bind me. The dark before the dawn breaks will not bind me. Like my mama told me, this I know and I see. Well, the wind that shakes the barley, it will not shake me. The wind that shakes the barley will not shake me. The wind that shakes the barley won't shake me. Like my mama told me, this I know when I see. Oh, hey, yeah, oh, hey. Oh, hey, yeah, oh, hey. should have introduced the tune. That's the tune. It's called Barley. It's by a woman named Liz Wright, a current tune. If you're not familiar with Liz Wright, totally recommend checking her out.
Great, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty well fed spiritually. How about you all? Good. Because now is our time. No, this is actually our opportunity. It's our opportunity to do a few things. First off, to be grateful for who and where we are. Second, to acknowledge the power and the presence of the One, which is so generous. And so I invite us to take this gift that we are giving freely. No matter how you give it, let us just bless it. Let's bless it and send it off to do such great works, knowing it comes back, pressed down, multiplied, and running over.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
We thank you for the gifts. We thank you for being such great givers. And we have a gift for you, and that is the gift of spiritual mind treatment. If there is something you're working on, if there's something that's showing up as a little resistance and you would like support, we here would be actually honored to be able to know your truth. And so if you're working on something, you can meet with one of us after the service. You also can fill out a prayer request form on the table, or you can fill out a form online. And if there's something you're working on that you would like the entire community to support you on, let us know that too, and we'll include it in our newsletter. First announcement, I want you all to help me welcome Eileen back. She's been out of country for I don't even know how many months, but a lot of months. So welcome back. She missed all of winter. That's all I know. Yeah, I know. So, welcome back. This coming Saturday is our first annual retreat. Those of you who have signed up, you're going to be getting an email from Reverend Joanne and I as we sort of like lay out some of the logistics. If you have a drum or drums, please plan on bringing it with you because we are going to close it out with a Native American drumming and chanting circle. So bring your drums if you have some. We've got some wonderful events planned. Pete and Julie are not only helping in terms of the food, but they're also going to lead a craft project. So you got to show up for the crafts, for sure. Yeah, let alone the company. It's going to be a really lovely event. Dress very comfortably because it's going to be a fun-filled day. It's rain or shine. Absolutely rain or shine. And you'll be able to walk the path. There's some walking paths right outside the door of where we're meeting that you'll be able to enjoy. And if you have not yet signed up, please do so. The cost is $40, and that includes a continental breakfast and a lunch. So that's where we are with that event. And there's flyers on the table. It's at French Park in Plymouth. Beautiful, beautiful park, part of the Three River District, I think it is. So there's that. There's also a flyer. Our sound person, Anthony, has leased some space in the Skyway of St. Paul, downtown St. Paul. There's flyers if you want to see, there's a QR code if you want to take a look at the exhibit he's got going on now. It's a visual experience, and it's around Pride. And then next month, he's going to be featuring some of his former husband's artwork. His deceased husband's. Yeah. And it's going to be fabulous. So we're going to scope out sort of where it all is and meet for a little lunch and then see his art as a community. So there's more of that to come. And also, he's funding this himself. So if you'd like to show him some financial love, there's a QR code for that as well. So that's going to be our July little activity. And I think that's all I've got. Okay, nobody's raising their hand. I'm good. Oh, yes. Yeah. Strawberries. We're doing strawberries.
Okay. If any of you are free on June 20th, it's a Thursday. So Carl and I have a jazz duo called Clover Club, and we do a lot of tunes from the 20s and 30s, and we're going to be playing on the main stage for the Strawberry Festival in Cottage Grove from 5 to 7 p.m. on June 20th. So if you want to come and hear us do our tunes that we gig around town and stuff, feel free to come and check us out. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's a free show, too. So, and pick strawberries. I think that's what you do at a strawberry festival, and eat them. Yeah.
Eat strawberries. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, right?
Okay. I'm going to pray us out. Reverend Joanne's going to bless us out. And then we're going to get to hear Carl and Victoria one more time. One more time. All right. You guys, let's just take another one of those breaths. I know it sounds repetitive, but I, for one, don't take enough conscious breaths throughout the day. And it's just about touching base with that spark within and knowing that truth that we are divine and we are on holy ground because every place we go is holy, because we bring our essence with us. I give thanks for being a divine, individualized expression of that one. Knowing that God is having a good time as I go through my life. I know this is true for me. I know this is true for everyone. We are such gifts, and for that I'm grateful, and so it is.
I'll leave you with this blessing. May you be at peace. May you know the beauty of your own true nature. May your heart be open. May you be healed. May you be blessed. Namaste.
Namaste.
All right. Here's a little tune called Singing in My Soul. If you feel called to stand up, please stand up. If you feel called to sit, you can stay seated, but I don't know. What fun is that? I'm so glad somehow I've got salvation now. It keeps the spirit moving in my soul. Every day I find it's peace and joy of mine, and it keeps me singing in my soul. Oh, I'm singing, yeah. prayer, and my heart rings out in trying a song. I'm singing, yes I am, I'm singing right now, and I'm singing, yeah, I'm singing in my soul. Oh, I'm singing, yes, I'm singing in my soul. Where the troubles fall, I sing from home tonight, and it makes my burdens bright, and it keeps me, yeah, it keeps me singing in my soul. Chorus one more time. Oh, I'm singing, yeah.